Hi guys, I'm Tracy. Thank you for being here today. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a Hakuhodo review recommendations video, and I'm going to be focusing on my mixed hair brushes, these squirrel and goat mixed hair brushes that I have, and also the squirrel eye brushes that I have. Just in case you guys haven't heard, Hakuhodo will be increasing their rates, their prices 30% on June 1st. So I know a lot of you guys are trying to put in your final order before that happens. Also, they announced that they're going to be making some changes to the B series. So maybe that means they might be discontinued. I don't know. They haven't said exactly what's going to be happening. Maybe they'll just be changing names. But either way, I wanted to get this kind of information out as soon as possible so you guys can prepare for your orders or decide if you want to do one or not. Okay, so I do want to talk about my mixed hair brushes because these are some of my favorite brushes, because this mix is very special because it has the softness and the silkiness of a squirrel hair brush, but it has the pickup and the durability of a goat hair brush. So it's like right in between. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. It is still fairly fragile, but not as delicate as a, like a pure squirrel hair brush like this. So I just am very, very fond of this mix, and so I wanted to show you what I have and make some recommendations. So there are different shapes that Hakuhodo makes in this mix, and I have 3 of those shapes, and they often will do like 3 to 5 sizes of that shape. So I'll start out with the round tapered shape, and I have 2 of them. This is an eye brush and this is a face brush. So this is the G5522, and it's an eye brush. It's a fairly big eye brush, at least for me. So I don't use this a whole lot, because for the first shadow, for the first shade of eyeshadow, I tend to like a fluffier squirrel hair brush, but I have B-roll of me using this for like my initial first shades of eyeshadow, and it does it really well. I think if you have deeper set eyes, this might be more useful. If not, and you want to give it a try anyways, and let's say you don't use it for your eyes, you could use it for very specific highlighting. I haven't used it for that, but I've seen a lot of people use this type of brush for that. But I do think it's a very, very solid shape, and for the right person, I think this brush would be fabulous. Now with this one, this is the B5521, and I think this is a very, very universal size and shape, and I really do like it in this mix because it makes it very versatile. You could powder under the eyes. It does a great job at that. You can also highlight, which is probably what I use this most for because of the shape, and it's really good for specific blush placement if you want to just do like a little bit right here. So I do think no matter what your face shape is, I think this is one of those super useful styles, and I just really do like it in this mix. I don't have the other ones, but I'm considering getting one of them in my final order, but I highly recommend that one. And then the next shape I have are the angled ones. Now this is the smaller one is the G511, and the bigger one is the B512. So I wanted to show you guys a comparison because there is a pretty significant size difference, and the smaller one, it kind of reminds me of a angled Sonia G mini cheek, and I don't use it a whole lot. I have used it for under eye powdering. It does that fine, but I do, if anything, I would use it for highlighter a little bit more. But it's just a little small for bronzing and blush for my taste. But this one I find very, very useful, and I use this mainly for bronzer because of this shape. So I'll show you how I use it. And this mix of hair, it's really good because it very lightly applies your powder products, but not so slow like a squirrel hair brush that it takes too long. You can build it up fairly quickly. So I just kind of do like the perimeter of my face like this. And I really love the way it comes out. I already have some on, but just so I could show you how I'm using this one. I kind of use it more like on the perimeter of my face here. And whenever I do my bronzer with this brush, I don't know, there's just something just a little special about it. I just think it makes your bronzer look so polished and very subtle. You know, if you want a very strong bronzed look, this one might not be the best, but it's just like the perfect medium, you know, between those two different brushes, two different hairs. But I highly recommend this B512. Now the next shape I have is the flat round shape. Now this one right here is the B505, and this one is fairly new. I just got this one in my last order, but I'm going to show you both of these in my b-roll because I wanted to show you guys the difference. So they're both really great, and I think this is the only thing I've used this one for so far is blush, and I really do like the way it applies blush because I'm able to pat. And if you look at like where the taper starts, it starts really low, so you get this whole area to apply your blush with, and that's kind of how I like applying my blush a lot of times. I don't usually like buffing too much unless it's a squirrel hair brush because I'm afraid it's going to lift my base makeup. And I really do like this one. I haven't even washed it yet because I just think it's so perfect as it is. The G5545, however, I've had this one a little longer, and I really, really like this one. I was a little disappointed. Oh, let me show you side by side. I was a little disappointed when I first got this smaller one because it was so sparse. And but once I started using it, I started to really appreciate how it's pretty floppy. I really do like how that works when you're applying your powder products. This is also good for under eye powdering because of the shape and the size. It will cover a pretty big area. So also if you wanted to do all over powdering, which is usually how I like to put my powder on, I tend to shy away from those really fluffy powder brushes. I tend to use something like this and just kind of like pat, because I have, you know, kind of dry skin, so I don't like to put too much powder on. So I do think this one is a little more versatile because you can powder with it. It's amazing for blush, and you can also highlight because it's got that really fine point, more so than this one. So it's also, you could, you know, highlight right here and right here really well. So I do think this one is a very, very versatile option. Now, if I had to recommend just two that I use a lot that I highly recommend would be the B5521 and the G5545. I think these two are just very universal, you know, no matter, you know, what your features are or, you know, what your style makeup. I think you could probably find a good use for these two. This one is just a little new because I've only had it for a little while, but I'm so far really, really enjoying them. The one that I don't use so much is the G511, just because the size for me is a little unnecessary. I have a lot of small highlighting brushes, and it's just a little too small to bronze and blush for my taste. But if you're looking for a small, you know, angled brush, I think it's a great brush. Now let me go over the squirrel hair brushes I have. Now a couple of these have actually been changed to a mix with synthetic, but I got these before that happened. So I have the G5523, and this is, to me, a really beautiful packing brush. This is now made with synthetic, so I don't know exactly what that would feel like when it has synthetic, but I can't imagine it being that much worse. It's just it's like a bigger GSN, Hakuhodo GSN 9, and I really like it for packing shimmers, and it just gives a very kind of like an ethereal look to the shimmers, and that's really all I use this one for, but I really do like this for that purpose. Now this is the G5534. This one also is now made with synthetic, so it might be a little bit firmer, but this one is a lot thinner than I thought it was going to be. I thought maybe I was going to be able to blend with this, but for me, no. The thing that I use this for is lining the lower lash line, and it does that really well. And if you want to do like a little wing over here, this is really good for that because it's got such a fine point, and it's very gentle because of the the soft hairs, and because it's so long, you could really, it's just very easy if you want to do like a thicker line or a thinner line. So that's really what I've been using this for, which I didn't expect to use this as liner, but it's just what I've found it's best for. Now the two other squirrel hair brushes are the S142 and the S146. You can also get these in the vermilion handle, and to me the larger one, the 142 right here, this one is more useful to me. This one is just slightly bigger than the G5534 that I just showed you. So it's not quite small enough to line. What I do like this for is if I'm trying to if I want a little bit of a stronger eye look, I'll carve out the shape that I have here with this brush, and I'll kind of also do lower lash line. I also use this brush, the S142, for that same purpose, but I still kind of prefer just a little. I do prefer the Wayne Goss 4 over the Hakuhodo because it's just a little easier to blend with. It's just it's bigger. It's fairly similar. I think the length is the same, but there's more hairs in the Wayne Goss here, and to me it's just a little more useful, and it's a little more floppy, which I prefer. But this one's much older, so this one might soften up. So I do feel like with the Hakuhodo squirrel hair brushes, they're kind of stiff. They don't have as much give as I prefer my eye brushes to have, but I think that will change as I use them more and I have them longer. But if I had to recommend one of these, I would say the G5523 to me is the most useful, but it depends on what you already have. If you have the Hakuhodo GSN 9, I don't really think you need this one. But if you're looking for a very gentle way to line your eyes, I would say the G5534 is good. Just don't expect to blend very well. This will probably not blend, neither will this one. But I knew that these are 100% squirrel, and I kind of knew they were going to be mixed with synthetic or possibly unavailable. So that's why I went ahead and I got these three in my last order. But and I'm really glad I got this one because it's now the G5534. It's now mixed with synthetic. But I like them all, and a lot of why I went ahead and got them is because some of my favorite eye brushes are the Wayne Goss 3 and 4, and because I don't think I'm going to be able to get those anymore, I wanted to have something that was the closest as possible to those brushes. So I'm really glad that I have them. But I would say just to sum things up, if I could only keep 3 of these brushes, I would say the G5545, the B5521, and the G5523. I'll say these are my top of the ones that I've mentioned. And because this is a B series, you can get this in a custom like champagne gold handle for no extra charge. And it also comes in a pure scroll option and a a goat hair option too, which I'm considering getting that one in the champagne handle. I'm not sure yet, but such a wonderful brush, and I know a lot of you guys have this one and enjoy it a lot. So that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.